Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas. And just a quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the podcast. And also thank you for all your emails, your support, your stories, and the new supporters on the page and on the actual community on Facebook. Thank you for following us on TikTok, Instagram, and also YouTube. And thank you for all your support. So let's go into today's episode, shall we? Now, on today's episode, I wanted to talk about something that actually happened to me, and it's pretty much the taboo that follows men with mental health. There is a huge taboo behind that. Like, for men, it's very hard to talk about how we're feeling, what's going on our heads. And if we don't do that, if we're not able to talk about our feelings, how what's going on inside our heads, like what we're thinking or anything like that, unfortunately, this I'm just talking about this from experience. Is gonna turn into a storm in our heads, and when that happens, we tend to get violent, we tend to get moody, we tend to get depressed, and this happens to men and women, but I wanna talk about more for men right now because of my experience, and I know that a lot of guys are going through something similar, especially right now with everything that's going on, all the stress, and especially too because for men, ever since we're kids, we're pretty much programmed to believe that we have to be strong, that if we show any type of feelings or if we talk about something that is bothering us, we seem as weak, which is not weakness. It's actually being able to talk about how you're feeling and what's going on in your head as a man is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. This is why a lot of guys, especially guys, like I said, this happens to men and women. This doesn't discriminate. Mental health doesn't discriminate. Mental health issues doesn't discriminate. But this is why in the military, there's a lot of guys with PTSD after they come back from tour or from being sent to the war, because when they come back, they can't talk about their feelings. They can't talk about what they saw because they don't even know how to process it. Like in my situation, in my story, if you have listened to the blog, you might already know this. But if not, like the first memory that I have is when my mom beat me up for putting her shoes on. She beat me up. I was like 3 or 4 years old. She beat me up. My brother used to beat me up all the time. Me and my brother, we used to fight all the time. My mom was abusive. My mom stabbed my brother in front of me. My grandpa died in front of me. I was hit by a bus. And then when we moved to the States, I wasn't really welcomed by my aunt. My aunt told my mom that she didn't really want us here. So I was never welcome. I never felt love. I was always angry. And because of that, of all those feelings that I have bottled inside of me, it turned to anger. It turned to rage. It turned for me to be very aggressive. I was on fight mode pretty much for 30 years of my life. And I know a lot of guys that are actually going through something similar because of their childhood, because of the way that they've been programmed by their parents, especially the dad. I didn't have a dad, but in Mexico, that's pretty much what you see all day. Like, if you're a man, don't talk about your feelings. If you're this, if you really are a man, you shouldn't show weakness. That's pretty much what I grew up on. So, and the same thing with my friends. When I was hanging out with drug dealers, they're like, "Oh, don't talk about your feelings. Your feelings, you shouldn't even have feelings. You're a man." So that's why I was raised on, and it caused so many issues later in life. Like when I met my wife. Obviously we were fighting. It caused me to hurt people. It caused me to do a lot of things that I obviously regret, and I have to live with that. I regret what I did, but I can change it. I can change myself, and that's another thing that we need to understand, that even though we're having mental health issues right now. I'm talking to men, and if this story clicks with women or kids or anybody, this one is for you as well. This is for anybody, but I'm targeting right now men because of my story and because of everything that's going on. And one of the things that I just found on Facebook, I'm gonna read it at the end, is very true from my perspective. And like I said, I'm gonna read that at the end. But the taboo, let's go back to the taboo. I didn't want to go on a rant or anything like that, but the taboo is that, like I said, men have all these expectations. Like from a young age, society puts all these expectations on us. Like, you gotta have a family, you gotta be a provider, you gotta be this, you gotta do that, you gotta have a nice job so you can provide for your family, you gotta take care of your wife, you gotta take care of your kids, you gotta make sure that they have everything. That's a lot of pressure. And then the thing is that what society doesn't take into account, or what doesn't see, is the way that we're raised. We're raised, like in my case, I was raised in a very abusive household. I was raised by not a very supportive family. So when I grew up, I wasn't ready to be like a good husband or anything like that. I wasn't ready to be like the best husband, because I never had that example. I never had that example in my life. I never saw it. So how am I supposed to do something like that? So we have all these expectations, and because those expectations are heavy on our shoulders, I was so stressed because I was trying to do my best. I was trying to take care of my wife, and then unfortunately she became ill. She became a Spoonie. She had her breakdown, and that's when things went down. Especially now with what's happening with COVID, is that, I'm recording this around the time that COVID is at its peak, but what's happening with COVID is that, let's say you're the husband and your wife gets sick, or your kids get sick. Hopefully nothing like that happens, but this is just a story. This is just an example. You're the husband, you're trying to provide for your family. Your wife can't work because she's been furloughed. Your kids are in school. Your kids are not in school because they have to stay home. Your hours get cut because work is low. What are you going to do about that? You're gonna have so much pressure in you or on you, that you're going to feel so much stress. And because of the way that we've been told, like, don't talk about your issues, don't talk about this, don't talk about anything, just deal with it. This is the way that I was raised, pretty much. You're gonna snap at one point. We are humans. We are animals. We are like animals. I saw this with my dog the other day, where he was all nice. I was rubbing his belly and everything like that, and then I tried to move him off the bed, and he tried to bite me, and I'm like, that's exactly like me. Like the way that I used to be. Like, yeah, I can be good in one point. I used to be like so zen at one point, and something will happen. Like, I will get stressed, and then I will snap. I will get so snappy. I will start to yell. I will get angry. And that's what happens to us as men, because obviously due to the testosterone and stress and everything like that. And then another thing that happens a lot is the miscommunications between the husband and the wife, or a man and other people. Like, we don't know how to communicate with each other anymore. We're losing that, and that's one of the things that I had to realize with my wife, that because of the way that I was raised as well, because of this taboo in regards to mental health and men, I wasn't able to tell her how I was feeling. So I would just keep it to myself, and every time she will ask how I was feeling, I will snap, because I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to face the truth that there was something going on. There was a freaking storm inside my head. So we were fighting, we were arguing until, unfortunately, like I have mentioned in the podcast or in the blog as well, somebody stole her pills. somebody stole her pills after she got out of the hospital, so she didn't have pills for like 14 days, something like that. And this is the medicine. This is the medicine that she needed. So that made me snap. And if you have listened to the podcast, to the vlog, that made me snap in such a way that I honestly thought I was going to kill the person that stole those pills. I was planning to murder somebody. I was planning to murder that person. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I was planning. I was so angry. Everything that happened, everything that I had inside of me, all those feelings of anger, self-doubt, all those feelings that I had inside of me bottled up, pretty much it exploded like a volcano, and I went into a rage. But here's the thing though. I don't know how it happened. I don't know if it was like a guardian angel, whatever you believe in. I don't know how it happened. It was, for me, I had like a moment of clarity where I had to ask myself, like, am I really willing to kill this person? And when the answer came back as yes, I was like, I have to do something. And that's when I decided to go into therapy and pretty much check on myself to see what was going on. And then I got the diagnosis of PTSD, which after going to therapy, I realized, like, okay, my childhood is the reason why I have PTSD. Like, my PTSD was bad. Like, everybody's PTSD is bad according to their story. You cannot compare your PTSD stories to somebody else, because everybody's raised a different way. Everybody sees something different. Everybody takes trauma in a different way. So trauma is depending on how your body absorbs it, or how you process it in your mind. Pretty much that's how I see it, and this is because of the research that I've been doing. Now, one of the things that after I realized that I had to go to therapy, it helped me. But it wasn't easy though. I never told anybody that I went to therapy until I was done. The only person that knew that I was going to therapy was my wife. She was the only one, and she helped me. She was my biggest supporter. Just like I'm her biggest supporter, she was my biggest supporter. And that's another thing with men especially. A lot of us, probably a lot of us feel the same way that I did. We feel alone. We feel like we cannot love. We feel like we can't be loved. We feel like we can't talk about how we feel. We don't have the words. We don't know how to express our feelings. And that's another thing that because society has suppressed us, or has make us suppress our feelings for so long, we don't know how to describe them at all. We feel angry, we just react. How many times we have heard of road rage, or a husband, and unfortunately that sucks, and that's why I want to bring this to light, because how many times we have heard of a husband that gets mad, or has like a rage episode and beats up the wife so bad that kills her, or kills the kid, or kills that. It's something that can be stopped or diminished at one point, but we have to break the taboo. We have to change the society sees men. We have to work together. We have to let men know that it's okay to feel a certain way. It's okay that you have feelings. You're not a robot. You're human. You're gonna feel no matter what. You're gonna feel anger. Talk about it. You're gonna feel sad. Talk about it. Like that's the thing, is that we have to talk about how we feel, so we can understand why we feel a certain way, why we're sad, why we're angry. And one of the things that I'm gonna tell you, this is for anybody, man, woman, whatever. Once you start talking about how you feel, you might be able to understand why you're having those feelings. And once you do that, you're gonna actually think in a way that says like, maybe this isn't worth it to feel this way. Now that I know that this makes me feel sad or angry, I can see it from a different perspective, so it doesn't make me angry. Another thing, when you're if you're a guy, try to find help. It's okay to go to therapy. Right now, for what I've been reading in regards to COVID, it's gonna be hard to find therapists right now because everybody decided to go to therapy now, which is great, but we don't have enough therapists. So find somebody that you can talk to. Find your wife. Or talk to your wife. Just be honest and open. Just be like, hey, I need help. Because that's another thing. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, I need help. Can you help me with this? Or if I need to talk to you, can you just listen without saying anything? I just need to express my feelings. And if I don't know, this is one of the things that I do with my wife. Like, if I don't know how to express it, I ask her for help. Like, how do you express this? Why do I do that? Because, in my case, she knows better English than me. I'm learning more and more English, and I'm learning more words and how to express myself. So she's helping me with that. Sometimes we might not have the right words, so we might have to ask like, hey, if I feel like this, like if I feel this anger or something like this, how would you express that? What's the word to express that? And then if your partner or your friend or whoever is helping you can actually help you with that, then you're gonna feel better because now you have a word to express those feelings. That's one of the things that we also need to do in order for us to be able to end this taboo, because sometimes the taboo, it's on our heads. The taboo is on our heads and we think like, oh, well, I don't even know how to express this feeling, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to bury it. And then something happens that reminds you of that particular feeling. Even though you don't know what that word is or how to express it, you're still going to feel it. But it's going to make you angry because you don't know exactly what it is. So if you don't know exactly what you're feeling, you're going to either get angry or get sad because you cannot express it. If you get angry, you take it out on somebody. If you get sad, it leads to depression, and unfortunately, the worst part of it is that it could lead to suicide. But this is because of the weight that men have to carry on their shoulders, and we get tired of it. Like, it is tiring. Like, there's been times that I have snapped at my wife just because I've been so stressed. But then I was like, I shouldn't have done that. And I realized that I was wrong. And now anytime that I feel stressed, I'm like, why am I stressed? How come I'm stressed? And then the answer comes, and then I talk to my wife and she helps me. So to end this taboo, just talk about your feelings. Talk about how you're feeling. If you need help, ask for help. And if you're a wife or if you're a friend of somebody that acts like the way that I described, just say like, hey, I'm here for you. If you need somebody to listen to you, I will listen to you. But if you decide to listen to somebody on their issues, don't criticize them. Don't criticize them, help them understand what they're feeling. Just tell them, I'm here for you. And help them, hug them, let them know that they're not alone. Because that's how I used to feel. I used to feel alone pretty much my entire life. So if this reminds you of yourself, just remember you're not alone, and together we can end the taboo. Like I said, right now I'm just talking about men because of my experience, but this goes for everybody. So you're not alone. And that this is why I'm doing this, because I know a lot of people that have gone through something similar to me. It's not the same, it's similar, and that's pretty much where we can make the connection to our similarities in our story, and together we can actually end this taboo. That way we can become better parents, better husbands, better boyfriends, girlfriends, better spouses, and we can create a better society. This isn't just about you. It's what we can, when we feel better, when we're connected to ourselves, what you can provide, or what you can actually be able to show that you can give back to society, it will be amazing. That's how I'm feeling right now. And I'm telling you, it's a good feeling. I know you can do it. And like I said, I'm going to read this because this one is actually, this quote that I found is very interesting because it's true. So it says, masculinity isn't toxic. Let me start again. Masculinity isn't toxic. It's men who aren't masculine who are toxic. Weak little men use and abuse women instead of stepping up to lead and protect them. Our society is suffering from a shortage of real masculinity, and it brings great harm to women and children who have no protectors. That one hit home because that could have been me. That could have been me in so many ways. And I'm glad that it's not. Because before I was able to deal with the way that I was feeling, I was weak. And the reason why I said I was weak is because somebody could have used those feelings towards me to trigger me. Now, because I'm more aware of my own feelings, I can actually think before I react. And that's what we don't do right now. Believe me, I know how it feels. Especially when you're a man and you have to deal with everything because of society's status quo that you're the man, you have to take care of everything. But in life, you can actually find a partner that can actually help you. It's a 50-50, not 100%. It's a 50-50. This is the way that I see it with my wife. We have turned our marriage into a 50-50 partnership, and wherever she's lacking, I can actually take over, and wherever I'm slacking, she takes over. So we help each other. I know it can be done. I know it's hard. And like I have said before, if you need to go to therapy, go to therapy. Talk to somebody. Because, especially right now, you deserve to get better mentally so you can provide better for yourself and whoever you need to take care of. So that's it for today. That's the episode. I hope you guys are enjoying the episodes. I hope this makes sense to you, and I really hope that you that you take care of yourself, kind of like I did. I know it's hard, and if you ever want to talk, send me an email, send me a message on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to talk to you because I know how it feels. Okay, so. Like always, don't forget to share, like, subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube and Facebook. And if you want to share your story, you can post it on the Facebook community. And also, you can send it to me anonymously at the Caregiver and Spoonie at gmail.com. And as always, take care of yourself. Have a great day.